Congratulations on making it this far. When it comes to designing laundry rooms, there are several key factors to consider. Let's dive into these essentials real quick. Initially, I designed the layout of this laundry room during the 2D design phase, strategically placing symbols to mark the locations of the washing machine, dryer, and sink. This foundation enabled me to construct the rest of the room around these pivotal elements. It's crucial to ponder the intended functions of the laundry room. Will it encompass a pantry or an ironing station? Does your vision involve incorporating a broom closet, a hanging rod for delicate clothing, or any other specific requests from your client? Additionally, the choice between custom-built or ready-to-purchase cabinetry modules can significantly shape the design direction. Consider the option of ordering kitchen cabinets to establish a cohesive look within the entire house, especially if the client desires a multifunctional space that doubles as a pantry or a second kitchen area. Ensure a seamless flow within the space, envisioning the entry points and intended usage to optimize the room's layout. When incorporating a closet next to a wall, integrate filler pieces to facilitate smoother door operation. Storage is an important factor to be able to use the space as a pantry or hide washing and cleaning products, hoover, ironing boards, brooms, etc. So in here, we have this big broom closet, some open shelves on top of the hanging rod and in the corner, some upper cabinets, lower cabinets where we can even use the corner for storage as well, and a big pantry area for sufficient food storage. Select waterproof materials that can withstand the humidity generated by washing machines and dryers. If natural ventilation is limited, prioritize the installation of a vent or exhaust fan to prevent mold buildup. Factor in the necessary electrical sockets, ensuring that specific outlets have ground fault circuit interrupter, also called GFCI protection, in the event of a ground fault. When it comes to measurements within the laundry room, I'm currently developing a laundry room measurements cheat sheet, but it may take some time before I can upload this to the module. In the meantime, I will include the most crucial measurements in the upcoming videos for your convenience. And if you're designing something in particular, like a pull-out hamper or an ironing station, it helps to look for those products online to investigate standard measurements of iron boards, broom heights, cleaning products, you name it, is to understand the dimensions better. Okay, now let's dive into designing our Eden Springs laundry room within SketchUp, while I share important measurements for the countertop heights and depths, cabinet heights and depths, hanging rod placements, and much more. So we have defined the placement of washing machine, dryer, and sink. Let's import the 3D washing machine and dryer file from the Module 8 zip file. I will turn on the section cut to see better. Then I will quickly exchange the placement of the washing machine, as I would like to have it on the right side. Placing it 25 mm or 0.98 inches from each other. I'm also leaving a 50 mm or 1.97 inch of a gap behind them, and 25 mm or 0.98 inches on the sides. This might need to be adjusted according to your specific model. Once that is placed, let's create the broom closet as seen here. I start placing a kickboard. In this instance, it's 100 mm or 3.94 inches high. Then I start building the sides of my closet. The total height is 2600 millimeters or 102.36 inches. Obviously, this is up to your design needs and the ceiling height, of course. I usually leave an air gap on the top, which can be closed off with a bulkhead later on, or you can just leave it open. I start to create my doors. In this case, I chose a height of 1530 millimeters, or about 60.24 inches, but this depends on your design. Then I create an inset of 50 millimeters or 0.59 inches and push-pull them 5 millimeters or 0.2 inches inside. Let's finish the upper door fronts. We could also include some shelves inside if you wish to showcase the inside of the closet. Lastly, I would like to group all necessary elements into one group to be able to move it around in case I need to. Okay, let's create some side panels for the washing machine and dryer. A height of 900 millimeters or 35.43 inches underneath the benchtop is a good size considering that the appliances also need a ventilation gap on the top. So the benchtop will be 30 millimeters or 1.18 inches thick. This also depends on the product you're using. I actually forgot to place some handles for my closet, so let's quickly do that. Typically, I place the handles at 1050 millimeters or 41.34 inches from finished floor level. You can use the leather handles from the 3D file I provide, or simply search for handles within the SketchUp warehouse. In this instance, I placed them about 25 millimeters or 0.98 inches from the internal profile, but that's up to you. Let's not forget to group them with the cabinet doors. I incorporated a 100 millimeters or 3.94 inches filler piece so the client can open the doors easier. Let's move on to create the bottom cabinets. The width strongly depends on the general design outcome. In laundry rooms, you can opt for slimmer cabinets than for kitchens. Like in these examples, the front width is 425 millimeters or 16.73 inches. The total height, including the kickboard, is 900 millimeters or 35.43 inches. When it comes to cabinet fronts, there are many designs. If you don't want a handle for the bottom cabinets, you could create a shark nose edge finish. I'm not going to place any drawers in here, so these are just simple doors. Make sure to leave some space between the benchtop and the edge so your fingers can actually pull the front out. To cover the gap, I'm creating a piece of 50 millimeters by 20 millimeters or 1.97 inches by 0.79 inches. This also depends on your design, obviously. Usually, the cabinet maker will adjust that for you as well. Maybe your design doesn't have to be as detailed. But if you do want to create elevations from this design, 3D design drawing, it may need to be built exact in order to get exact correct measurements in your elevation. Now that we have finished one cabinet, let's create one for the corner in the exact same way. You will notice that I try to use the same width of the doors in order to keep a consistent design. Corner pieces are not so easy to design. You may need to search for some inspiration or simply visit IKEA or any other stores and see how corner pieces are actually built. Some have a corner carousel inside, some are just plain with shelves. Just make sure to include some filler pieces, especially when dealing with drawers and doors that need to be opened. I'm going to copy this single cabinet now and just adjust the size to create a double cabinet with 2 doors for our sink. Quick and easy, don't you think? I left an air gap behind the corner cabinet as my water pipes will actually run behind them. Here we have another corner cabinet, just a bit shorter. And finally, I can adjust the size of my countertop. We will continue in the next video. Welcome to part 2 of our laundry room design. Since we have finished the bottom part, let's move on to create the upper cabinets. The height of the cabinets will depend on how high your ceiling is and how much backsplash you're going to leave. I have created 970 mm or 38.19 inches high cabinets. But first let's create the back profile for our backsplash. I chose 180 mm or 7.09 inches of height. You can copy the line within the benchtop group and move it to the desired thickness. Then we just push-pull it out. The same for the other side. For laundry rooms, I recommend a backsplash height of 700 mm or 27.56 inches, but you can certainly do less here too. We have high ceilings, so this works great. Let's mark the spot where our upper cabinets will start. Now let's have a look at our spatial plan to create the correct size of our cabinets. 425 mm width or 60.73 inches and 330 mm depth, which is 13 inch. This is without the door front. Then we can use our guide to place it on its correct height. And the next steps you know already, creating the outside frame, the top, and maybe some inner shelves. As I mentioned before, the total height will be 970 mm or 38.19 inches and can differ depending on the height of your ceiling in your project and how much backsplash you would want to leave. Now we just need to finish the cabinet with a door and a handle. I'm using the same profile as we have used for our broom closet. We can now copy this cabinet as we need it on the other side as well. Time to create the apple shelves. The top of the highest shelf is placed 1380 millimeters or 54.33 inches from the bench top. The bottom shelf's top sits at 1060 millimeters or 41.73 inches, but you can just open the cabinetry file to measure or just have a look at the elevations. I have already finished the backsplash for my tiles. You can also do that at the end, as you usually don't place shelves or cabinets on top of the tile. You place them directly to the wall and then you add the tiles. Now we can finish up with our shelves as we have already marked the top heights. Okay, so where should you place your hanging rod? Well, approximately 290 millimeters or 11.42 inches from your tile surface, and leave about 85 millimeters or 3.35 inches from the top of the shelf. Using my circle tool, I'm creating a 50 millimeter or 0.59 inch radius hanging rod. Then we can just add some hangers here from my 3D collection as well. Alright, let me now just finish the corner shelves. I like to place shelves in the corner instead of having all the cabinetry closed, as this will provide an airy feel. Let us now prepare the cutout for our sink. The placement can also be checked on the PDF plan. I'm placing the sink 60 millimeters or 2.36 inches from the front edge, but this depends on the depth of your sink, of course. Just make sure to account for some backsplash tiles, as they will reduce the total depth of your countertop. Toggling inside the countertop group, I'm creating a rectangle and just pull that out. Okay, now we can import the sink. I'm using the 370 by 490 millimeter sink. This is a great size. We can now mark the midpoint for our faucet, placing the center also 60 millimeters or 2.36 inches from the edge. I'm going to use a simple faucet with a separate hob mixer, but you can find more options in the bathroom fixtures collection from Module 6. Now that this is placed, we can use the same material for our countertop as I have used in the office. I will just sample that one and apply it to my countertop. Sometimes you may need to include some additional separations in order to rotate your texture, so it does look better. Okay, this looks good to me now. I'm just gonna finish up with some accessories. What's left to do is the pantry cabinetry, but this is fairly easy. You can recheck all measurements within the elevations in case you would like to rebuild this. If you're up for a challenge, why don't you just go ahead and designed a laundry room completely different than I have. I would love to see what your ideas are for this space. See you in the next sessions. Hi guys, so in this last video, I will speed up the process a little bit, as by now you should be familiar with building simple cabinetry boxes. Creating cabinetry designs can take up a lot of time, so make sure you charge your clients by the hour. As you can see here in my design, I usually construct the cabinetry with single groups. This way I can push-pull out shelves or cabinet walls easier, instead of having surfaces and edges all within one group. If you need to watch this video in slow motion, simply select a lower speed in the video settings and turn off the sound, as otherwise I may sound very funny. But that way you could truly see every click I did in here, if that is even necessary. I have just included this video as a bonus content. I'm sure you can already create something like this by now. When it comes to pantries, like in this example, I would recommend to opt for a good shelf height. I have chosen 395mm or 50.5 inches of height. This works great for most products you would want to store in pantry areas. There is no specific rule on how to design your pantry. Just get inspired by searching for examples on Pinterest or on other sites. Obviously, this pantry is a custom-made pantry, and the design can be really flexible as it will be built by a carpenter. Not all clients will have the money for that, but certainly you can still get creative with more affordable IKEA modules and combine them as you prefer to save some money. Okay guys, I will just wrap this video up with the last adjustments. Feel free to stay along or start recreating this laundry room. If you're up for a challenge, why don't you just go ahead and create your very own laundry room design? I would love to see how you would have planned this space.